I'm not a big fan of those, but it can be fun for people. Um, but it's scary at the same time because there's some people who will take it to such extremes that you know they actually start to believe it's true. That's evidenced with a lot of the Kai haters and their beliefs, which are based on the old dub. Um, they actually think that because of this, and this is Dragon Ball Z. And so when they cut out the filler, they actually believe that they've cut out half the story, which is better explained by the filler, which actually contradicts the actual story. Um, in certain places, yeah, it does. I've had people try to argue that with me, but it does. I mean, there are places in filler where you got Gohan, not happy with having to do schoolwork, trying to find ways to sneak off, not wanting to do his schoolwork. Yet, throughout the actual canonical series, he's wanted to be a scholar. And to be, he wants to educate himself. He likes to learn. He's never been a fighter. And yet, there are places in the filler where he wants to run off and have an adventure. And, when it's every once in a while, kids do get like that. But the problem with the filler is that it's got him like that a lot. It's a recurring thing for him. Another way in which it was apparently structured was that Gohan, and this is another fandom belief, Gohan wanted to go to Namek because he wanted an adventure. It's like, no, Gohan wanted to go to Namek because he felt personally responsible for Piccolo's death. And it was a chance to bring him back. Piccolo died to save him. And frankly, it was because Gohan had been too scared to do anything himself. I mean, there were so many times he could have done something. One time specifically where, they had Nappa off guard. He could have blasted him and might have done serious damage, if not finished him off. Then he didn't do it because he was too scared. It's stuff like that. He felt responsible. He felt a sense of responsibility to bring back Piccolo and the other people who had died. It's a lot more somber and a lot less, oh my god, a chance to go to another planet and explore. No. Oh god, no. This is working. That's good. But I honestly don't understand how some people can sit there and say that somehow the series is ruined by going back to what it was originally. And their argument is that it's popular, therefore it must be better. Nah, by that logic, Twilight's better than a lot of other books. No. That's absolutely not true. Popularity actually has nothing to do with quality. Popularity can be manufactured. Much of what we have around us today that is pop culture is not pop culture. It's engineered and fed to people. Justin Bieber being a prime example. That kid should not be famous. I'm sorry, he just shouldn't. By all accounts, he does have some vocal talent, I'll admit. He's got some musical talent. But it was nowhere near developed enough to warrant this kind of fame. Everyone's doing everything for him now. His fame's completely manufactured. You see what I'm saying here? But, Bieber's popular too. Bieber's probably more popular than a lot of the bands that you listen to. Does that mean that Bieber is therefore better music? No. No, God, no. It's not, but, that's the logic you just used. Oh God, but I'm getting off topic here. Though the point though is, oh God, the things that show up in Fanon. I'll give you an example of some of the ridiculousness that people go to for alternate pairings. One of which is, this is a common one, mistaken anger. There are people who actually cannot look at anyone being angry at someone or hating someone or being disgusted by someone without it having some sort of deeper meaning to them. Like somehow when someone's actually angry at someone, when someone's threatening someone, it's not just anger, it's not just a threat, it's now sexual tension. When someone hated someone and despised someone, it's now sexual tension. When they actually go so far as to beat the crap out of someone and mock them, it's sexual tension. And so thus, Vegeta and Android 18 are depicted as having a ton of sexual tension. Even though he hated her, she pretty much dishonored him. He was definitely no fan of hers. And she and her brother find these Saiyans to be insufferable, arrogant pigs. Her brother feels that way too. Does this mean that he's secretly gay for Vegeta? Well, you know what? The fangirls will probably run with that one too. And the same goes for Trunks. You know, never mind the fact that he watched this woman, whether it's her or an alternate version of her, either way, ravage, pillage, and destroy his world, slaughter masses in front of him, so on and so forth. You know, apparently because she's considered to be hot, and, you know, he's angry, which is clearly sexual tension, he'd like nothing more than to, you know, tell everybody who's running around surviving, you know, screaming for their lives when they show up, screw you, I'm gonna run off with this hot chicken banger. Pretty much. That's what happens in a lot of those stories. It's downright stupid. There is actually no wiggle room for this. The pure unbridled hatred there is so apparent. He wants them dead. He doesn't just not like them. He wants her. He doesn't just not like this girl. He wants her dead. He would like nothing more than to kill her with his bare hands. To make her pay for killing his teacher. To make her pay for killing his father. To make her pay for killing his friends. To make her pay for killing all those innocent people. Sometimes right in front of his very eyes. You know? It's stuff like that. And then, you know, the ridiculous tiny stuff, like Bulma talking about how Goku grew up to be a handsome guy, therefore, oh, Bulma and Goku, even though Goku doesn't look at her that way, and Bulma is just being kind of flighty and isn't even necessarily seriously considering, you know, whatever. There you go, you know? I mean, but seriously, by this logic, though, by some of this logic, I mean, whether Roshi should be paired with every single woman on Earth because they can't stand him, and yet he certainly has a thing for them, but their anger and hatred at his constant sexual advances must be sexual tension, right? No, I didn't really want to touch on this topic. It just bugs the hell out of me. I'm sorry, it does. The only way these can work is going beyond the boundaries of fanon into just plain fantasy. It doesn't make sense. Especially since the people who support these pairings more often than not then go out of their way to try to rip down the ones that are actually there. You know, find any sort of little thing they can attack about a certain pairing. Krillin and 18, for example, oh, he's too ugly, oh, he's short, oh, he's weak, she shouldn't be with him, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. Oh, clearly she doesn't love him because she's not all over him, you know, etc., etc., etc. No one's all over anyone in this series. Get over it. That's not what it's about. I mean, seriously, she married the guy, she started a family with him. You know what comes with making a baby. I highly doubt she's that disgusted by him. It's just, you know, and even people... Here's another one that, on a slightly less crazy scale, you know, people who even support some canon pairings will go out of their way to try to trump up theirs as the best by attacking the others. And my personal favorite to watch this with is when they do it with Bulma and Vegeta. Bulma and Vegeta, best couple ever. And, some of you might get offended by this. I'm sorry, I gotta speak my mind on this subject, because I've been holding back trying to avoid offending people for too long. Best couple, my hairy white butt. I'm sorry. Do you not know how they got together? Not quite the little romantic whirlwind you think it is. Bulma dumps Yamcha because Yamcha won't settle down and commit. In other words, she's ready for something more than just dating. He, not so much. It's actually one of the signs that she's maturing. But she gets frustrated, says, I'm not dealing with it anymore, she dumps him. And yeah, that's actually in the manga. Yes, fangirls, not because Yamcha was a drunk who often beat her and slept with other women and offered her a chance to join in like you so often like to claim and portray. So, she dumps him. She's upset about it. Vegeta's there. Now, see, here's what I love. The polite version, as it's put in the manga, is that she saw Dad was there and saw he was lonely. So, now, lonely is more often than not a polite way of, saying horny. I'm sorry, but it is. So what happens is she's emotional, he's hormonal, they get together, 9 months later you got a baby. And what's Vegeta do? After knocking this woman up, takes off into space to go train his buns off to surpass Goku, leaving her to raise that child alone. That's right, alone. Ditched his family. When he comes back and sees them again, is there an emotional reunion where he's cuddling his woman and his child? No. They get shot out of the sky, and he's willing to let them fall to their deaths if the other Trunks, the future one, hadn't been there to do something. Dead. It was ridiculous. Where are you getting this best, most affectionate couple ever crap? The guy didn't even start caring about his family for 7 years after he had it. He stuck around with it, sure, but he didn't give a rat's backside. He even admitted he had not even once held his own son since he was a baby. That time when he was about to kill himself fighting Boo was the first time he had even hugged his own son. He was a heartless jackass. I'm sorry, but when it comes to family stuff, he was. And that's that, I mean, you can argue about, it's so emotional and dramatic. Yeah, maybe you finally got something to hold on to there, but throughout the majority of this couple's existence, there's nothing. They're not even really a couple. They just made a baby. And they sit there and attack the other two, which actually show a lot more affection for their spouse than those two do. Just because Goku and Chi-Chi fight, and I guess because Krillin and 18 aren't sneaking off to bump uglies every chance they get, they're clearly not in love with each other or something. I don't know. But, that the lengths that people go to defend that specific pairing are ridiculous. At any rate, I think I got plenty off my mind with that one. But yeah, like I'm saying, fandom can be fun when it's kept within the realms of logic, when it's kept within the realms of what is there, what isn't there, so on and so forth. Debates are fun. Good-natured debate's fun. When you take it too far and start getting downright friggin' creepy with your opinions and with what you think is there versus what's really there, not so much, guys. You look crazy. Anyway, my advice to you is when you're arguing with somebody and you see something like this, it's usually a sign that, something's going to happen, that best to back out. Because when someone goes into and starts bringing in Fanon to back up something about canonicity, you know that it's pretty much over. Anyways, that's it for now. See ya.